even in areas of our lives that are going really well, nothing's so good that it can't get better. So looking at where might I be holding myself back from making this better? So yes, we can first use tapping in terms of what's bothering me. Like, I'm really nervous going into this meeting. I'm afraid it's not going to go well. So I want to tap to clear that. But even if I'm feeling okay about it, I might say, I want it to go really well. So if there's anything inside me, I'm clearing out any blocks to having something amazing happening here, and really allowing ourselves to be in the best sort of vibrational place to let amazing things happen.
Hello, my loves, and welcome back to Create Your Life. I'm your host, Simone Leah. So, I just wanted to let you guys know that today's interview is actually an interview that I recorded about a year ago when I ran an online event called the Soul-Led Entrepreneurs Summit. It was a really, really, really wonderful event. I had some beautiful, amazing speakers talking about things like connecting with your intuition and how you can use that in your business, how to do Facebook advertising, how to do marketing as a soul-led entrepreneur, all of these cool things to do with business, entrepreneurship, and actually also spirituality and connecting within. And so these interviews were so wonderful that I really wanted to be able to share them with you now. So if when you're watching this, you see or hear the word soul-led entrepreneurs, this is still the Create Your Life show, but these interviews were just too good for me to keep to myself any longer. So I really, really, really hope you guys enjoy this interview, and I can't wait to connect with you again soon. Hey guys, and welcome back to Soul-Led Entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Simone Leah. And today I just can't even put into words how absolutely blessed and honored I feel about today's guest. So today's guest is someone who is just very special to me and very important to me, even though the interview is the first time that we've met. But this is someone who has been a key player in my life for probably more than 15 years. So I got the absolute pleasure and joy of interviewing Brad Yates. Now, Brad Yates is an EFT expert, and he's been online for a very long time. He's got over 1,000 YouTube videos now, and I remember back when he had about 150. Now, EFT is emotional freedom technique, otherwise known as tapping, where you tap on certain points of your face and other parts of your body, and it helps to shift the energy through that you may be feeling. So if you're feeling anxious, it'll help to move that anxiety through, and it can also help you to supercharge if there's something there. If you're doing affirmations and you just want to tap out any resistance that there is to those affirmations, you can use it for that as well. Now with Brad has a very nurturing and storytelling and like just a really nice presence in his videos, where he might be doing something and he'll have a little laugh, or he'll say something that's a little bit funny. And so when you actually tap with Brad, it's a really just a nice experience where you just feel like safe and led to just feel what comes up in the moment. And I've actually known about Brad so long that there have been so many times where I would just be like, I need to tap with Brad, and I'd just be sitting on the floor crying and just tapping away with whatever it was coming up for me at the time that I actually needed to deal with and work through. And it can be like the stuff that Brad does with EFT, it does apply to any area of your life. You can tap with Brad about finances, you can tap with Brad about health, you can tap with Brad about chocolate addiction, you can tap with him about success, you can tap with him about family things. Like, you can literally tap on anything. And so for me to actually interview someone of Brad's caliber, who is literally someone that I have respected and admired and looked up to for so many years, it was just an absolute honor and an absolute pleasure. I have watched so many of Brad's videos. I've done his programs. I think he's absolutely amazing and such a support when you need it, and such a light in the world. So today we actually talked about EFT just in general, and then how you can apply that in business and how that can relate in times if you're a little bit stressed, or if you do want to supercharge your results by doing affirmations, how EFT can help that. So I literally loved this chat. I did an EFT tapping round with Brad with the biggest smile on my face. Normally when I'm doing EFT, I'm a little bit more like, connected in with what I'm feeling and what I'm saying, but you'll see that in this one I'm just sitting there so excited about the fact that I'm actually like literally tapping with Brad. So this is a really great interview for you guys to see, because you're literally seeing me just being myself and being so like excited and happy and joyful. Not that I'm not normally, but in a slightly different way to how I normally am, because I'm talking to someone who's had such an influential impact on my life, and the actual joy of being able to experience those moments and that time with Brad. And so you'll also like see that side of me, but you also get to see this beautiful man who just goes out and expands and connects with the world through his teachings. And so I highly, highly recommend, after you watch this interview, to go out and start watching Brad's tapping videos, Tap with Brad, because it's literally amazing. It'll get you through any dark times. It'll literally like supercharge your light times, you know, any times things are going well, it'll just supercharge that. Like, it's such, I can't speak highly enough about Brad and the work that he does. So I really hope you guys enjoy this interview. Hey guys, and welcome back to Soul-Led Entrepreneurs. My name is Simone, and today I'm here with Brad Yates from Tap with Brad. How are you, Brad?
I'm excellent, Simone. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. We are so overjoyed to have you. Brad Yates is the EFT man, like 100% the person to go to. And I'm so excited about this chat, because today we're going to be talking about creating a successful and joyful life using EFT and allowing that to help you move through and shift things in your everyday experience, really, in whatever way that turns up. So I'm super excited to jump into the topic, but I would love to start with the question, what does being aligned in business mean to you?
Yeah, it's being able to be in business in such a way that it feels like you're in integrity, like you're doing what you feel called to do, and in a way that that you feel good about. Because certainly there are plenty of people telling us how to do business in ways that go, yeah, that feels a little off. And it feels like sometimes we have to make compromises. So it's, yeah, feeling like what you're doing for a living is in alignment and has integrity with who you choose to be and what you choose to, how you choose to live.
Yeah, I literally love that. And I like that you say that it just might feel a little bit off. It's not even necessarily completely off, but there just might be that little bit that's just like, oh, something's not right there. So totally love that. It's all about just getting back into that alignment. So we're here for EFT. Would you be able to tell people, just if they don't really understand or know what EFT is, what is EFT?
Yeah, absolutely. So EFT is short for emotional freedom techniques. And it's a process that a lot of us just call tapping, because we are literally tapping with our fingertips on places on the face and torso. And if you are new to it, I know it looks a little weird, but stick with us, because there's a really good reason why we do it. It was originally based on acupuncture. So for thousands of years in Chinese medicine, they said there's a flow of energy through the body along these pathways called meridians. And when this energy was flowing naturally, we experience our natural state of health and well-being, physically and emotionally. And when this energy gets stuck, we don't feel so good. And when we don't feel good, we don't think as clearly, we don't make the best choices, and that has all kinds of unfortunate consequences for us. So in traditional acupuncture, the doctor would stick needles in these key places. And we're just using our fingertips to tap to stimulate those same places to clear out those energy blockages. Another way of saying that is we're clearing out stress. And we have a growing body of evidence showing that tapping is an incredibly effective stress relief technique. So if you thought of tapping as nothing more than stress relief, you could see why it's so beneficial in so many areas of life, because most, if not all, of the issues that trouble us physically and emotionally are either caused by or worsened by stress. So, and when we want to make a change in our lives, there's a part of us, consciously, part of us says, oh, that would be so great. What if my life looked like this? What if my business was like this? What if I did this? And our mind says, that's different. That's out of our comfort zone and has a stress response, and we stop ourselves. So by using this process to calm down that stress response, we're able to think in different ways. We're able to take different actions and therefore get much better results.
I literally love that. And I would love to know, because it's generally the same points every time we do it. How is it then that by changing the words, we get that different, like we are able to work through whatever is coming up?
Yeah. In the original version of tapping, as created by a psychologist named Dr. Roger Callahan, and he had been studying acupuncture and learning about the different meridian points and what parts of the body they're related to, what emotions. And for the different emotional challenges that people were facing, he would tap on different points in different sequences. And it was one of his first students, Gary Craig, who, thinking like an engineer, because that was his background, said, well, what if rather than taking time to figure out which points in which order, what if we just tapped all the points from top to bottom in a straight line? And some of the points may not be necessary for a particular issue, but it doesn't hurt to tap those points. So that's why we're tapping all of the same points in the same sequence, just to cover all the bases. So some of the points may not be necessary. Some of them may be more profound for different issues, but this way we're just covering all of them. And then in the process of lowering that stress and the emotional discomfort, then as we talk about different issues, we're just kind of covering all the bases to clear out those blockages.
Ah, amazing. I actually didn't know that. So that's very cool. So we're just covering everything. So then when it does come to the actual statements, because they change every time, how does that kind of work? Or they can change every time?
And what's great with tapping is that it's because of the stress relief benefit in using the body this way. If we are experiencing some stress or some other way that we might describe the physical and or emotional discomfort we have, we don't actually have to say the words, and we could just be tapping quietly and we'll start to calm down and feel better. The wording is designed to zero in on what might be there and what we might not be aware of. So if I am feeling, I just feel a lot of anxiety right now, and I feel it, in my chest, then I can be tapping, because I don't have to target exactly what it is. As I calm down, I might start to get more aware of what it is. Oh, this anxiety is really about this upcoming trip. And I hadn't really thought about that, but there's some things that need to be done before I leave. And I'm afraid I don't have enough time. So then I might design the wording to be about that. And for me, it's sort of an inquisitive process of, well, I wonder what might be going on here. Is it something that happened in my childhood? Was it something that happened with a friend or with a family member? And it's just kind of rounding up the usual suspects and sort of leaving no stone unturned. It's like, let's look under here. Let's look under here. And when I'm guiding someone through a process, I may say things that they'll say, yeah, that doesn't quite resonate. It's like, okay, but I had a sense that it might be. And I'd rather look under that rock and find there's nothing there than say, oh, there's nothing there, and pass by it when there's something important underneath there.
Yeah. I literally really love that, because that's one of the things that I really enjoy about your tapping in particular, is when you're actually going through a tapping sequence, it is kind of like your storytelling and going through and checking all of those little rocks and all of those little places. And for me personally, I find that quite fun, because it's kind of like we're going on a little tapping journey, and it's not so like rigid and boring and I'm just doing this for like, to calm down or whatever. It makes it a really fun process. So it is really nice to understand that that's why you actually do that, which is great, because sometimes, yeah, we do go, well, I'm only stressed because of this reason. But there is actually some other things that are adding to that. And I think that when you can as intuitively just start to go through and uncover all of those stones, that definitely makes a massive difference, or I feel like it does anyway. So if someone wanted to apply it to a certain topic, how does that actually work? So say they're stressed out because they don't feel like they've got enough time to get something in particular done. How would they go about doing a tapping sequence or a round?
And generally, we start off with where that feeling is. So I would say to someone, okay, close your eyes, take a deep breath, follow your breath through your body, and ask yourself, or say, I don't have enough time. And notice how strong that feels on a scale of 0 to 10. Where in your body do you feel it? It's like, oh, it feels like an 8, and I, feel it in my chest. And we might start just tapping right there. And we could tap on, even though I feel I don't have enough time. Or I might say, even though I feel this tightness in my chest, because sometimes we can just approach the physical aspect. And sometimes that's all we have. Someone might say, I don't know what I feel the anxiety about. So we can just say, okay, if I'm aware of the tightness in my chest, I can start there. And as we're tapping through, it's often like peeling the layers of the onion. Some might say, this anxiety in my chest, this anxiety in my chest. Oh, it's a time thing. I feel like I don't have enough time right now. And so we can focus on that. And when we'll do some tapping in a little bit here, and I'll do the way that I do it, where it's just sort of train of thought and allowing the intuitive process to happen. But when someone's starting out, you don't need to do that. You can, as I said, you can get a lot of benefit just tapping silently, but you could also just be saying, this tightness in my chest, this tightness in my chest, this tightness in my chest, or this fear about time, this fear about time, just whatever that fear is. And as we're going through, and again, peeling the layers of the onion, we might find, oh my goodness, this comes back to when I was in the 4th grade and I had a lot of homework assignments. And my dad said, well, you're never going to have enough time to get that done. And I was so afraid of the consequences. And just this ongoing feeling of there's never enough time based on that experience. Because so many of the things that trouble us, part of it is what's happening right now. And part of it is a bunch of stuff that happened over the years. And sometimes we create problems based on what problems we already have had in the past, because we make a decision like there's never going to be enough time. And funny thing about human beings, we love to be right. And we are powerful manifestors. And so we may manifest situations where there's obviously not enough time. So the part of us goes, yes, we were right again. There's unfortunate consequences, but at least we're right. And so we manifest that kind of evidence to prove ourselves right. And we want to knock that off.
Yeah, definitely. So I love that it actually can take you back to when those experiences first started, and you don't necessarily need to know that at when you're starting the tapping round.
Yeah. Tapping is most effective when we're very specific about what's going on. We're not always aware of that. So we don't want to sit around and go, well, I can't tap until I know the exact right words. Just start tapping either silently or with whatever you've got, and begin from there. And whatever you're doing, it'll help to calm down at least somewhat. And from that place, we will get more clarity. Yeah. But Yeah, don't wait until it's like, oh, I know the exact precise thing that I need to tap on.
I love that. And I think that tapping can be so transformational if it is something that you don't like, that you actually use, that you don't just wait for, oh,
Right.
I'm blowing up right now. Like, it's something you can literally use every day to try and just not to try, but just to make changes.
I encourage people to tap every day because to me, it's energetic hygiene. We have physical hygiene. We brush our teeth on a regular basis. We take showers on a daily basis. Most of us, rarely do we wait until the people around us are holding their nose and then we go, oh, that's right, I haven't taken a shower in 2 weeks. No wonder I should go do that. So we do it as maintenance, just a regular upkeep of our hygiene. But we're constantly being bombarded by stress. I mean, most of us are walking around with a little device that's constantly saying, here's something else to be upset about. And that affects us. We take that stress on and it gets stuck in the body. And most of us don't have an effective, healthy way of dealing with that. So to do this every day, it's, just like brushing our teeth and clearing that stuff out before it is causing a real problem.
Yeah. As a daily practice, what I used to do when I used to like not intuitively do it is I would literally go onto your YouTube channel and and I would just scroll the videos until one kind of stood out at me and I would tap on that. And so what do you recommend if someone is to tap every day? Do they tap the same sequence? Do they intuitively figure something out? Or do they do that intuitive, bring me the thing I should tap on to the universe like I did?
It's different strokes for different folks. Some people they'll pick one particular video. I have some, playlist called Taps of the Morning because my first video was called Tap of the Morning. And uh, so I just put together a series of ones that people might want to start their day with, like Amazing Day or Raising Your Vibration, things like that. Because while tapping was developed with the idea of clearing out emotional discomfort, you can be tapping saying positive statements. And I'll say to folks, even if you're not around your computer and can't get on and watch a video, you could just be tapping while saying affirmations or prayers. That's what I'll do sometimes. I'll just tap while saying a prayer or an affirmation first thing in the morning. It's not always about, I tap first thing in the morning when I get up. And it's not that I wake up in a bad mood. It's like, oh, another bad mood. Even though I started the day in a bad mood again, I got to clear this stuff out. I just want to be as open and clear whatever, ambient stress might be there to set myself up and prepare myself for the best day possible. So if you have a particular affirmation or prayer that you like to say, one of my favorites is, thank you for the blessings I have. Thank you for the blessings I'm now receiving. And just kind of that kind of positive thing. But yeah, if there's a particular thing that you want to work on, like, I want to focus on money stuff and having more money, then you might watch the videos that are money focused. Or maybe you're working on your relationships and you focus on the relationship ones or self-esteem. So some people will want to work with one particular video over and over, and others will find it more beneficial or more entertaining to watch a variety of videos.
Yeah, but there's not really a right or wrong. You can kind of just make it your own.
You really, it's hard to get it wrong.
I love that. And I love that you can actually make it fun, just do it and make it fun. And then you'll be like, it's more in alignment and joyful when you are just following your own intuitive process. And I do wonder whether if people do set that strict, I'm going to do this video for the next 7 days, whether that would take a little bit of the fun out of it, because it's the fun that I actually enjoy about EFT. So yeah, I literally love that. So how would people be able to use EFT if they're in business and there is things actually coming up for them? Can they just stop mid part of their day and just do a little round of tapping?
Ideally, depends on the type of your business and where you're at. There are some places. I dream of a day when everybody knows tapping, and so someone can just start doing this in public, and people go, "Oh, that's a good idea." I'm actually feeling a little stressed right now. That would be good for me too. Uh, we're not quite at that point, so you may want to, duck into the bathroom to do some tapping, or there are subtle ways that you can tap where nobody notices if stuff's coming up. For me, if something is coming up that is stressful, then I'll start tapping right then. Just because, like, if I'm watching a news story, I'll I'll tap. It's like, okay, I don't want to take this in. I don't want to embody this stress from this. I want to, maybe a story that I feel, oh, it's good for me to know that this is going on, but I don't want to be, traumatized by it or something like that.
Yeah. I love that. And I think that, like, yeah, you can just subtly just tap here. And I think that that's so applicable to all situations. If you had to get on stage and start speaking and you're freaking out before you get on stage, you can just be standing there tapping while whoever's talking to you is talking, or you're about to go into a meeting and you're kind of losing it a little bit. So just duck into the bathroom and do a full round, or, there's ways that you can kind of integrate it, which I
Yeah.
think is really great. And can we apply it to every area of life? Can we apply it to abundance and love and health and happy days?
Pretty much any area of life, because even in areas of our lives that are going really well, nothing's so good that it can't get better. So looking at, where might I be holding myself back from making this better? So yes, we can first use tapping in terms of what's bothering me. Like, I'm really nervous going into this meeting. I'm afraid it's not going to go well. So I want to tap to clear that. But even if I'm feeling okay about it, I might say, I want it to go really well. So if there's anything inside me, I'm clearing out any blocks to having something amazing happening here, and really allowing ourselves to be in the best sort of vibrational place to let amazing things happen.
Yeah, I literally really love that, because I think that when you do go through your daily life, you can sometimes forget about these little things like tapping that can just take it to the next level. Like, you might have prepped up for that meeting or interview or, anything. You might be like, yeah, this is good. This is going to be great. But just doing that round of tapping and getting that energy around that next segment of the day or life, or, however you use your segments, um, just getting that energy to really match what you actually, your own vibration, to match what you actually want in that next part of your day. I think that is just so powerful, and such a great reminder to everybody that you don't need to spend your whole 8-hour day or however long you're spending working stressed out because of something that happened at 9 in the morning, or stressed out because of something that will happen in 3 hours. You can just tap that out and move forward at the time, which is amazing, really.
Yeah. And clearing out any possible resistance that we may have in any area of our lives. There may be a part of us saying, well, it shouldn't be this much better. And we'll hold ourselves back to a certain extent. And tapping is kind of streamlining ourselves. So I often talk about it as the Michelangelo principle, because Michelangelo said the statues are already there, perfect inside the marble. I just have to chip away what doesn't belong to reveal the masterpiece inside. And sometimes we may have a lot of it cleared away, but there's little extra blocks that create wind resistance. You think of Tour de France bicyclists shaving their legs, because even just a little bit of leg hair slows that creates a little bit of wind resistance and slows them down. So this is kind of, shaving away what doesn't belong to be as streamlined as possible in making things better in any area of our lives, and thinking, okay, whatever part of me might have some resistance to my health being better, my relationships being better, my finances being better, because of old stuff that I picked up in the past about how good it should be and how good it shouldn't be, clearing that stuff out so that just really just glide forward and make things better and better.
I love that. And I speaking of resistance, I would love to ask about beliefs because say, for example, you're sitting down and you're about to do some affirmations and you're going to tap while you're doing it. Is it important to know whether you actually have a belief for or against that affirmation before you start? So say, for example, the belief is, I am successful, and internally you don't actually believe that. Would you recommend doing some form of, say, muscle testing to see whether that belief is even there? Or can you just start doing EFT to those actual affirmations and those beliefs, and that the energy will just shift itself?
Right. Because even if the belief, even if it's not a belief that you hold on to, I mean, first of all, you probably, if you didn't believe it at all, you might not even consider that the belief might be there. But even if it's not a detrimental belief that you really hold on to, and it's just, well, I wonder if there might be some of that in there, it won't hurt to clean it. It's, if you're looking at your carpet and you're thinking, is it really that dirty? Wow, should I vacuum it? It's not going to hurt to vacuum the carpet, even if there isn't dirt there. So it's the idea of nothing so clean that it can't get cleaner. So it's like, okay, just in case there's this idea, if there's any part of me that might be resisting success, any part of me believing that I couldn't or shouldn't be successful, then doing some tapping on it, it can't hurt. It's not like, wow, I was really geared up 100% to be successful, but then I tapped and now I've taken that out of there. At the least, the worst that could happen is that nothing changes. But chances are, if there is something there, we're going to start to be clearing that out. And so what I'll do is actually, let's go ahead and do this. So everyone go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and hold it. And let it go. And just following your breath through your body, say, I am a successful person.
I am a successful person.
And just let that rattle around. Because this is one of the ways that we can find out if an affirmation is true or not, is by staying the affirmation and then seeing how we feel about it. And on a scale of 0 to 10, how true does that feel? And don't judge yourself harshly if the number is lower than you'd like it to be. And if part of you is saying it's a 10, ask yourself, okay, let me double check, because unless everything in your life is showing, yes, I'm doing great, I'm just, nailing it in all parts of my life, then there may be something else going on that we're resisting, and what we resist persists.
Yeah. So it is something where, like, you can say, if, like, for example, someone's like, yeah, I am a successful person, but they're successful in business, but they might not necessarily be successful in terms of their actual health and well-being.
Yeah.
So it is something where if you say I am successful, it can apply to what I call the pillars, like the different pillars of life, like, health, wealth, community, those sort of things, relationships. But yeah, so that statement, when you say I am successful, if it's a 9 or a 10, it might be true for that one area. But if you broaden it out, there might be areas that are less.
Yeah.
So then you can just clear on that statement and it'll help to bring it up for all the areas.
Well, and we can target different areas. So if you're game, we'll do a tapping round on that right now.
Okay.
And in general, when we do a tapping round and we are aware of whatever the troubling issue is, so like the anxiety in my chest that we talked about earlier, I would say we would start, we tap with the fingertips of our index and middle finger, and we tap on the side of the hand to begin with and say, even though I have this anxiety in my chest, I choose to love and accept myself. I also sometimes like to start around with, I choose to do something in a more positive affirmation way. So that's what we're going to do this time.
Okay.
I choose to feel more successful.
I choose to feel more successful.
And I choose to love and accept myself.
And I choose to love and accept myself.
I choose to feel more successful.
I choose to feel more successful.
And I choose to love and honor myself.
And I choose to love and honor myself.
I choose to feel more successful.
I choose to feel more successful.
And not just in one area of my life.
And not just in one area of my life.
I choose to feel successful with all the pillars.
And I choose to feel more successful with all the pillars.
Because I deserve that.
Because I deserve that.
And it benefits other people.
And it benefits other people.
I choose to feel more successful.
I choose to feel more successful.
I choose to feel much more successful.
I choose to feel much more successful.
And I choose to clear whatever might get in the way.
And I choose to clear whatever might get in the way.
Whatever resistance there might be.
Whatever resistance there might be.
Whatever fear there might be.
Whatever fear there might be.
And part of me might say.
And part of me might say.
Why on earth would I be afraid of success?
Why on earth would I be afraid of success?
And that's a very good question.
And that's a very good question.
And I choose to process whatever answers might be coming up.
And I choose to process whatever answers might be coming up.
The extent to which I don't have, but I say I want.
The extent to which I don't have, but that I say I want.
Tends to be the extent to which I'm resisting it.
Tends to be the extent to which I'm resisting it.
And the main reason we resist things.
And the main reason we resist things.
Is that part of us feels some fear.
Is that part of us feels some fear.
So if there are particular areas of my life.
So if there are particular areas of my life.
Where I don't feel that successful.
Where I don't feel that successful.
I'm looking at where there might be resistance.
I'm looking at where there might be resistance.
I'm looking at where there might be fear.
I'm looking at where there might be fear.
What am I afraid would happen?
What am I afraid would happen?
If I felt more successful in this area of my life.
If I felt more successful in this area of my life.
If I were healthier.
If I were healthier.
If I were wealthier.
If I were wealthier.
Who would be jealous?
Who would be jealous?
Who would resent me?
Who would resent me?
I may have very good reasons.
I may have very good reasons.
For limiting my success in different areas of my life.
For limiting my success in different areas of my life.
In fact, I choose to be open to the possibility.
I choose to be open to the possibility.
That I am 100% successful right now.
That I am 100% successful right now.
Based on what my unconscious mind thinks is success.
Based on what my unconscious mind thinks is success.
If having more money felt dangerous.
If having more money felt dangerous.
Then having less money is successful.
Then having less money is successful.
So I am successfully where I think I'm supposed to be.
So I'm successfully where I think I'm supposed to be.
And I'm allowing myself to process that.
And I'm allowing myself to process that.
In any area I choose.
In any area I choose.
To see why I might be resisting greater success.
To see why I might be resisting greater success.
And I choose to clear out those misunderstandings.
And I choose to clear out those misunderstandings.
That told me I should limit myself.
That told me I should limit myself.
Clearing out those fears.
I'm clearing out those fears.
Clearing them at a cellular level.
Clearing them at a cellular level.
And all the way back through my past.
And all the way back through my past.
Back through all the times in my life.
Back through all the times in my life.
Where I somehow got the message.
Where I somehow got the message.
It wasn't okay to have things be better.
It wasn't okay to have things to be better.
It wasn't safe.
It wasn't safe.
And I needed to limit myself in certain areas.
And I needed to limit myself in certain areas.
Those were misunderstandings.
Those were misunderstandings.
And I'm clearing up the confusion.
And I'm clearing up the confusion.
So that I can set myself free.
So that I can set myself free.
To let things get better and better.
To let things get better and better.
In all areas of my life.
In all areas of my life.
Because there's nothing that's too good for me.
Because there's nothing that's too good for me.
And my success benefits other people.
And my success benefits other people.
It's a total win-win situation.
It's a total win-win situation.
And I've got what it takes to do what it takes.
And I've got what it takes to do what it takes.
So I'm allowing myself to be much more successful.
So I'm allowing myself to be much more successful.
In body, mind, and spirit.
In body, mind, and spirit.
And take a deep breath. And with your eyes closed, say, I feel successful.
I feel successful.
And just notice how that might feel a little bit different now. And make a note of anything that comes up, and you may find that you have some more tapping that you might want to do. Maybe some memories came up as we're peeling the layers of the onion, and I thought, oh, I remember this thing that happened 20 years ago. And it's like, okay, I'm going to do some more clearing and be totally free from that. And then you have the freedom to be who you can be.
Amazing. Literally amazing. Like, so good. I'm so glad we did that. Thank you so much.
Sure.
So yeah, I literally love that. Like, I just can't even. So is it important, like when people are doing tapping, if they get the words wrong, or because I know I stumbled a couple of times, if they get the words wrong or say something different?
You can't get it wrong. The intention is there, and it's not like the mind's going to go, oh, you said it wrong. Now we're going to make the opposite happen. Because, and sometimes when I'm tapping with a group, and I'll be tapping with someone on a particular issue, and someone else might say, oh, but that's not my issue. Now, if I say that issue, now I'm going to create that issue, because we have this idea of, positive thinking, and we have to say the positive. And if we say the negative, we're going to create that. Not while we're tapping. If you spill orange juice on your kitchen counter and you get a towel and you're wiping it up, you could be saying orange juice, or you could be saying coffee, or you could be saying milkshake. It doesn't matter. No matter what, you're going to be cleaning the countertop. And this is a cleaning process. So don't worry about the words. Again, you could be saying nothing. You could be saying virtually anything, and you'll be clearing out whatever disturbances are in the system.
Yeah, I love that. And then also, like, what about, like, I know for me, if I'm actually tapping on something that's really like it's the reason why I'm actually doing the video, like there's an actual reason there. Sometimes I'll get emotional, or sometimes, I'll start yawning. Or did you want to speak a little bit about what happens in the physical body sometimes when we are releasing some of that stuff that we're holding on to?
Yeah, and you mentioned yawning. Yawning is probably the most common physical response to this energetic shifting. And it doesn't mean that if you're not yawning, it's not working. It's just that that's something that comes up for a lot of folks. But there are other physical manifestations of that energy shifting. It could be burping or crying or different feelings that we have in our body. And yeah, it's just the way that the energy shifting presents itself. And sometimes we're not aware of anything that obvious, but we just feel more relaxed. And there are times where we're tapping and we start to feel more emotion coming up, because it's not so much the tapping that's creating that, it's the fact that we're looking. So if you're going to clean your apartment up because you had company coming over, and you say, well, it looks pretty clean, but I like these people coming over, so I'm going to clean it more. And you find, oh, there's dirty laundry under the sofa. And now you're thinking it's not so clean anymore. You wouldn't say, oh, see, I should never have cleaned up. Cleaning up is what causes this mess. No, it's just that in the process of cleaning up, you found something you weren't expecting, something you've been hiding. So in that case, generally continuing tapping will clear that up. So now your apartment really is clean. Or you may find things that are more distressing, in which case it's best to go and consult a professional.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. I definitely think that even having a professional there, it does give you that space to go deeper in a way that you might not necessarily allow on your own. And I think that it's interesting as well. Like sometimes you might start out with this thing of successful, but it might actually lead back to something that was said with a family member that's really distressing. So it definitely does help to have a professional to work through with it. Obviously, you can use EFT in everyday life, just log on to Tap with Brad and do some of Brad's videos every day, which are amazing. And yeah, like for me, if emotions came up, I would repeat that video until I stopped crying. So sometimes I do the same video 3 times in a row. But how do you know when you should go and see a practitioner because something is really triggering you as opposed to just your daily maintenance? Or do you think that if you're trying to get somewhere and it's not showing up in your life, that you should just make seeing a practitioner like a regular practice, like, getting your car tuned?
And certainly getting outside help is beneficial with so many different things, whether it's going to see a therapist or hiring a coach, getting a personal trainer, because there are places where we will stop ourselves and we will say, no, I'm fine, I'm fine, even though we're far short of what's possible. Like with a personal trainer, if you're on your own, you might do 3 push-ups and go 1 2 3, okay, that's good. And a personal trainer would say, you've got at least 5 more in you. and create that safe space and let you know, okay, I'm not going to let you hurt yourself. We're going to do what's safe, but you can go further. Same with working with a practitioner with EFT, someone who can create that safe space so that if a painful emotion comes up, that person can be there and guide you through it and move you to the other side, as opposed to feeling lost in the middle of that.
Yeah. Amazing. And then even with like, if there's something that you really want that isn't showing up, as we've said, going and seeing an actual practitioner can help you get to the bottom of that, really, can't it? To help that start to move through and show up.
Right. If there's a part of us that believes, for whatever it is that we say we really want, and we're not getting it, it's like we've put up this wall because based on old beliefs about why we couldn't or shouldn't have that. Oh, I really want this country house, but I remember, or I may not even consciously remember, but my parents may have had a conversation about some people who had a country house and how they were just terrible people. And so I have this block about country houses and how only terrible people have them that I may not even consciously be aware of. But if I'm working on my own, there's that part that says, well, don't let them know about the country house, the argument from childhood, because then the wall will come down, and then we'll have that country house that makes us a bad person, because there's still some confusion there. So we don't let ourselves see where we're stopping ourselves. Whereas somebody who's not invested in your limiting beliefs, but rather is committed to your growth, is going to say, well, let's take a look at some other things and see what's going on there. What are you feeling about this? And asking questions that we wouldn't ask ourselves, because part of us is stopping ourselves from going into that place and achieving the result that we've been convinced from an early age is not right for us.
Yeah. I literally love that because yeah, you just sometimes can't see your own stuff.
And it's not a weakness, it's brilliant. We're
Yeah.
brilliantly protecting ourselves from something we've been convinced is not safe for us.
Yeah, it's literally a safety mechanism, and all it is just clearing out that energetic block to let those, I guess, safety walls
Yeah.
down, really, isn't it?
As I like to say, self-sabotage is simply misguided self-love.
Yeah.
We beat ourselves up when we sabotage ourselves, like, oh, I'm trying to lose weight, but I just ate another box of cookies. That's so stupid. It's like, no, it's brilliant, based on the belief that I need to feel good. I believe the cookies will help me feel good. That's more important than any of those weight goals. So we're trying to take care of ourselves, and And then the funny thing is that beating ourselves up is also brilliant, because all the time I spend beating myself up, one, I think I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I can't expect to be perfect, but as long as I beat myself up when I'm not perfect, that's okay. But two, the more time I spend beating myself up, the less time I have to achieve those goals that I think aren't safe. It's like, oh, if we let go of this, we might have time to go and make something happen. So let's spend a good hour or two talking about how we're such a loser. And it's brilliant in terms of keeping us, again, like what I said in the tapping round, we're 100% successful based on what we believe at an unconscious level is successful for us. Not too poor, but not too rich, not too healthy, but not too unhealthy. We all have this thermostat, financial thermostat, health thermostat, relationship thermostat, and we try to keep it right in that area.
Yeah. And I think that you can sometimes, if you're a pro athlete, you can excel in one area, or you're, incredibly wealthy and you can excel in that one area. But it is noticing all of those other areas as well, as you said, that there is something keeping you safe in some of those areas that might not be where you necessarily want to be. So I think that's so, yeah, definitely something amazing to think, and a different perspective, because that's not one I've heard before, that where you're successful, you actually believe that that's the success level for you, if that makes sense. I don't think I worded that anywhere near as well as you did, but but do you know, like, that's something that I've never really heard before, that you are exactly as successful as your actual being is, like going, yeah, we're successful because we're protecting ourselves from this, and we've created this, and we're just over the line with this, so we've got this, we're successful. But it's not where your brain is like, that's not where I want to be.
Right. Objectively, it's not successful. If we are, living in a terrible place, and we have no money, and we're like, I'm not successful at all. This poverty sucks. At some level, part of this going, yes, but the alternative would be worse. If we had more money, it would be more work, or it would make your friends jealous, or your family would be upset, or all these different things. And so, even when our lives are crap, it's our crap. We dealt with it yesterday. We know we can deal with it today. And so it just feels that much safer to be stuck there. And therefore, it's successful. The prime thing is to keep ourselves safe. And even when the behavior may not seem safe objectively, it's like, okay, but based on my old programming and based on different things I've experienced, even if it's physically harmful to me, at an emotional level, I may feel it keeps me safer. And so, we protect the ego before we even protect the body.
Yeah.
So we're just looking at and allow ourselves to realize we're doing the best we can based on our programming, based on our circumstances. And there's a part of us that has a stress response that tries to stop us from making changes. And as we clear away the stress, we start to see that we have options and recognize I could make different choices here. It would be okay for me to have things be better in my life.
Yeah. And I actually think that's one of the reasons why I love the opening statements with tapping, where you start with love and accept myself as well, because you are saying, you know what, it's okay. I do accept that we're trying to keep ourselves safe. I do love myself for it, but we're going to go in a new direction now and just
Right.
clear some stuff up. you know so yeah, I love that part of the statement. I think that's such an important key element to it, to be able to really start to energetically clear anything that is stopping you as well from accepting where you're at and loving where you're at, because it is just there for your own safety.
Based on misunderstandings from the past.
Yeah. I love that. Just a little misunderstanding that I had with myself and what we want.
And misunderstandings that have been passed down for generations sometimes.
Mm.
It's maybe a family motto of You know, we don't have as much as other people, things like that. And it's like, that was someone's misunderstanding. And then they tried to justify it. And then we put it on our coat of arms. And yeah, time to change that, because there's no good reason for that.
Yes. And it's so funny because there's so many, or there is people that'll be like, they get told you're exactly like your grandfather. And it's like, oh, your grandfather had a different life. Maybe there's some stuff there that should be a little different, or,
Yes.
stuff can come generationally.
Yes.
So just to start wrapping this up, because it's been such a wonderful time and I've literally loved it, but I am conscious of your day. What would be 3 tips you can recommend for someone who is wanting to get started on an EFT journey to be able to move their life in the direction they want to go?
Yeah, the first is use it. And if maybe just going through the experience that we just had, you may feel, oh, okay, I've got these 8 points down. I can just do this on my own. Great. If you want to have it guided, I've got over 1,000 videos on YouTube. I mean, literally over 1,000 videos. That's not hyperbole. So you could be thinking of all kinds of different things that might be bothering you. Chances are there's a tap for that. And you can do that. And then if you're ready to take it further, there are different programs. You can work with a practitioner and say, okay, I want to get more out of this, and I want to see where I can go beyond what I might allow myself to do on my own.
Yeah. I feel like it's safe to say that whatever you want to create in your life, EFT can kind of supercharge that no matter which way you go about using it.
Because like I said in the tapping round, the extent to which we don't have what we say we want tends to be the extent to which we're resisting it. And this is a resistance clearing tool.
Yeah.
So as we tap away that resistance, we just have that much greater freedom to make better choices and take better actions, which gets better results.
Yeah. Normally, I would ask someone what a recommended resource would be, but I feel like I need to just say your channel because, like, it's seriously, Brad's got tappings on everything and they're fun and it's engaging and storytelling and it's great. So yeah, I would highly recommend going and checking out Brad's channel because it's literally, like he said, there's over 1,000 videos on many different things and you don't get bored with Brad. Like, it's just fun and engaging and it's just easy. Like, it's just a fun practice during the day or as part of your day, as part of your routine. So, I mean, would you like to offer a resource or are you happy to just go with my recommendation of you there?
How do I argue with that? Thank you.
Oh, it's okay. Totally okay. So where can people find you?
You can just go on the internet and type in Tap with Brad. Tapwithbrad.com is my website and has links to all the different resources I have. You can also go into social media, Facebook, Instagram, and of course, YouTube. That's where I have all those videos is on YouTube. So go in, type in Tap with Brad, and then you can type in whatever subject you might want to focus on, like money, anxiety, relationships, and they'll start kicking out relevant videos that might be useful.
And a little bit later over time, once you've done a couple, you'll notice that your smile is as big as mine when I'm talking to Brad. That is what happens when you tap with Brad. So thank you so much for being here today. Everyone should just go check out the channel Tap with Brad. It has been an absolute honor and a pleasure. And I'm so grateful for you being here. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Simone. It's been a pleasure speaking with you as well. And thank you to everyone who's watching and tapping along.
Thank you.